Hello, everybody. I'm just having myself a nice mug of coffee. It's nice and starting to get cold. It's starting to get cold, people, and I'm liking it. I never thought that I'll be this guy who is actually welcoming winter because I don't like winter, even though I was born in winter. July is my birthday month, but the Cancer side of July, I know we crazies, but I never looked forward to winter because it is brutal when it gets brutal here. And what is a very interesting thing about many guys that I interact with from the US in particular, I have a lot of US people that are interested in South Africa. And the notion is that Africa is hot, like hot. And we're like, maybe you should come and check for yourself at this time of the year. So when they hear that we actually have four seasons, it's like a big shocker. But I realize as well that it's not just African Americans that are shocked about this, but Africans as well. Mostly your West African Africans, they got shocked to learn that we have the same weather patterns as that of Europe and the US, probably even Canada. But even though we will get snow, obviously, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm just sharing my experience with how the world is actually opening because of YouTube. I'm building relationships and connections and networks through YouTube, and as a result of that, I get asked very interesting questions, and I get to learn about their cultures and their countries, their weather patterns and stuff like that. So the shocker is always like, it's cold. Like, yeah, we got four seasons. We got autumn, winter, spring, and summer. They don't believe that, especially your Americans, because they also have four seasons. The ones that don't necessarily understand how come we have winter and why our winter is this cold is your West Africans, which is makes sense why they would think that because they are right across the equator. See where Africa, I think the equator is just below the west of Africa, but they still get like tropical weather. And as a result, it's always cold if it's not, I mean, it's always hot if it's not hot. It is rainy. And I've been to Ivory Coast, by the way, and that is West Africa. And I went there. Apparently, it was supposed to be like chill, like chilly, but no. It was hot. I was breathing through a oxygen tank just so I'm breathing normally. And the rain, when it rained, it was hot. I mean, you could literally take a shower in an Ivorian rain. Of course, it has its own little issues as well that you need to be careful of, but it was a warm, rainy. I think it was raining for 3 days. I was there for 3 weeks, so the rest of the other days while I was there, it was hot. And here's the funny thing: when I came back from Ivory Coast, I was yellow boned. You would think I'll come back like pitch black. Mm-mm. The opposite effect was happening. I was a yellow bone from head to toe. How is that possible? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But anyways, I thought let me just share because I was having myself a mug of coffee. Jacobs. I love Jacobs. I'm into instant coffees. And if I'm not into instant coffees, I'm into frappuccinos, whether the frappuccino is made of coffee or just milkshake, whatever it is that they put in them. That's the person I am. But when I'm at home, instant coffee. I don't do espressos. I don't do cappuccinos and all that stuff. No. I'm into instant coffee, and I love Jacobs. Jacobs is my thing. It's my go-to coffee. I'm not sponsored by Jacobs Coffee, in case you're wondering. But anyways, guys, let's talk about the top five methods to building generational wealth. Okay, before I get into this, I want to make a huge disclaimer. All right, I am neither a financial advisor nor a stockbroker or anything along those lines. I'm just sharing with you my journey through financial freedom, subsequently building my own generational wealth. Hence, I have this YouTube channel, hence, I have the main YouTube channel, hence, I have all the other YouTube channels because they are generating me money, and I'm hoping at some point this money will build me my wealth, number one, before I start building on generational wealth. However, while I'm busy on this journey of building my own wealth, I also have other methods that I believe will assist in building generational wealth so that I can leave all my hard sweat and tears and hard work and sacrifices to my offspring. If it's not my offspring, then it's going to be my siblings' offspring and stuff like that. So that is what I want to bring to your attention this evening so we can talk about it. I'm interested to also hear from you through the live chat. What are you working on in building your own generational wealth? What other method or a method that you are using to building your generational wealth? I'm assuming the reason why you also started your own YouTube channel is not just because you want to have some extra stream of income or it's a side hustle, but it is also something that you are hoping will build you some type of wealth. And hopefully that wealth will translate or be transferred to your children, and perhaps your children take it forward. Of course, there are others. I'm not saying that social media is not a serious ways of making money, because it is a serious way of making money. I have watched people make millions of US dollars through social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. People's lives have changed, transformed from absolute being broke and working a 9 to 5, and that 9 to 5 is not satisfactory when it comes to the salary that you are earning, or maybe you even hate waking up in the morning to that 9 to 5 that you don't like. Also, at the end of the month, you still left with nothing, absolutely nothing to show that you are a person that is employed. So, of course, some of us are utilizing social media to build our excuse me, our wealth, because we realized that this is another way of me building my wealth. But we'll talk about those. Maybe I should give it up first. Why are those five? So that we can now build on this. But I don't want to spend too much time on the five of them. I want to say some meat to building up to these 5 minutes, because it's a build up. It's not a thing that you just walk after listening to my live tomorrow morning when you wake up after voting. If you're in South Africa, you go and put money into it, and then suddenly you are on your way to building generational wealth. The first one is very simple. I make sure that these are the simplest top fives. I don't want to go into something that is complicated, that is going to make you feel a little discouraged, but I want something that is reachable, something that you can reach depending on your own discipline, and depending also on your own zealousness, as well as your own dreams and financial goal. Because the financial goal for me is financial freedom. I think I did say the other day, man, having some extra cash on you, you find yourself making impulsive decisions, sitting and thinking, why am I bored when I could just book a flight to Cape Town? And literally, you book a flight to Cape Town, and you find yourself in Cape Town. Or you wake up one morning like, let me go have breakfast in Cape Town, and then I have lunch in Seychelles, and then have dinner in Mozambique. That's what having money gives you, that freedom, without thinking twice, without thinking, oh my goodness, if I take here and I take there, I'm gonna run short to there. That is what generational wealth, I also believe, affords you, because it affords you the freedom, maybe the peace of mind, not freedom, but the peace of mind, knowing that if you're no longer going to be here, your children Hopefully, their children's children will benefit from this hard work and sacrifices that you've put in order for them to live a comfortable life, or even a lavish life, or maybe an opulent life. It all going to depend on you. You, the first generation, to build it. And I believe that when you build generational wealth, in most cases, it's not about you. Mm-mm. It's not about you. It's about your children and their children and their children's children going forward. You know why you are doing that is because you've learned, or maybe you've experienced difficult life without money. You know how it's like to live from paycheck to paycheck, or you know, or you've seen your parent living from paycheck to paycheck, and then sometimes some things you can't afford, sometimes some things you really have to budget for or save up for, and things like that. And you don't want your children and their offspring to go through the same thing you did. Hence, you begin this journey of building generational wealth. But before you build that, it starts with you. I think for now, you kind of like be a little bit selfish. It's going to be about you also getting your own financial freedom, and then from there, build on that. So the five methods, I don't know if I say ways or method. The first one is the obvious one, saving money. It's either you take some money or some cash out of whatever stream of income that you are getting, and then you put aside probably 10%. Maybe it's your salary. Maybe it's a side hustle that you do some or you get somewhere, or maybe government grant, whatever the case might be. You just take 10% of that money, let's say maybe 100 rand, put it in a savings account that will build you 10% of whatever you've put in per annum. If you put $1,000 as saving and it builds you 10%, at least you know that about, is it $100 or $10 is growing in an annum. If it's a million, you know that you're having 100,000 somewhere that is also growing per annum, or whatever the math is, and you never touch that. This is money that you will never, ever, ever, ever touch because it is for your children. College tuitions are super expensive. Not only is college tuition that you have to think about textbook, you have to think about dormitory or residence, you have to think about food if they're living in a self catering residence or dormitory, you have to think about medical insurance, etc., and so on. So you know that if I am putting so much money in this savings account and it grows by 10% annually, and I still don't have kids yet, remember it's for your kids. Maybe you do have a kid or a few, they are still young. You know that by the time they hit 18 or whatever the age might be, if they're interested in going to college, you have that money, that peace of mind, knowing that I don't have to worry about any. They're not going to be in student debts and try to pay that off before they can start having their own financial freedom. So it's all that what you are laying this foundation that I do not want my kids to suffer the way I did before we even go as far as building generational wealth. However, saving money can also be a form of building generational wealth, because if you don't have kids right now, and maybe you will, let's say you are in your mid 30s into your 40s, and then when you get your first child or children, or maybe your siblings' children, when they start coming through into the world, they already set for a very good, comfortable life, maybe a soft spot to land so they can build on what you would leave them behind, or maybe some really nice, what do you call this, life that you would have set up for them. Of course, the obvious one as well is investing in real estate property, by having a house that you paid the mortgage for and it's paid off. It's yours. The land is yours. Everything is yours. And if anything should ever happen to you, you know that your children, they have a roof over their head. There is no way that they are going to be vagabonds even if they turn out to be vagabonds at some point, they will always know that I have a home, and this home I am always welcomed. So, real estate investment, it is important. Whether you have one house or multiple homes, and then you turn the other homes into different other business opportunities like Airbnbs or a farm or a piece of land that you can rent out or build on or farm on, do it all as long as you build up to that starting right now. And I still say we live in the 21st century, we're in the fourth industrial revolution, and this time around, it is opening up so many opportunities for us. It is your responsibility, if you are interested in building generational wealth, to find an opportunity that you know it's going to help me save money for my offspring. Secondly, it's going to afford me to buy a home that we will own, not owned by a bank, or maybe a home that you know that if you want to get something bigger, you can use it as collateral or borrow against it and get something even bigger, and then build on that, pay off both the what do you call this, pay off that debt and stuff like that. It is all about financial freedom for you, but comfort life for them going forward. So it's important to find these opportunities that the fourth industrial revolution is providing to us, one of which I still think having a YouTube channel, I told you guys, every time when I'm going to talk about opportunities, YouTube channel is going to make it on that list. It's going to be there, but I will get to that. Investing in stock markets, I think it's like index markets. I am still learning on this one myself. It's not something that I bother myself very much about. I think maybe I'm beginning to read and learn more about the stock market. What's the best assets to invest in? I hear government securities are the best investment when you are going to invest in the stock market or stock indexes, those sort of stuff. Those are the things that I'm busy and currently learning. And so I'm not going to say too much on it and end up saying something wrong or something that might be considered like, no, you are wrong here. I don't want to say much about it, but also I am learning a lot about cryptocurrency as well, because I'm hearing stuff about royalties that you can get from Bitcoin and all of that stuff, and get buying stock with Bitcoin. All of the stuff I'm still learning, because I am interested in building generational wealth, and that is why I felt that today is the right day to talk about it. The third one is start a family business. Again, opportunities, you've got to find them. I think I did share a story of a YouTuber that sells things on eBay. She buys musical instruments at a cheap price at a thrift music store. She goes home, polishes them. If they're damaged a little bit, she fixes whatever needs to be fixed, takes a picture, put them on eBay, and she makes $100,000 a month because of that. So you can start a family business of that nature, where you go to a thrifting store and you flip whatever you buy there and resell them on eBay or sell them on Facebook marketplace, or whatever the case might be. If you're into vintage stuff, you can once again go to a thrift store where they sell vintage stuff, flip them, and then resell those things and make yourself good six-figure income and build your wealth that way. But family business as well could also involve your typical businesses, whether it's a supermarket or you a clothing store or whatever the case might be, because these sort of businesses, they can obviously can, and I'm saying using this very lightly, they can be obviously be left to your children, and then depending as well on your smartness as a business owner that has built this family business for generations to come, what you put in place and how the store is going to be sustained for generations to come, right? Just like this family, right? How do we put this? Just like this family right here, the Johnsons. This is for it's been happening for generations. I think probably since the 1930s, post American Great Depression, they've been around. They've been around. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds since 1700s. So it is all about you right now. What intellectual plan do you put in place so that your generation, as they move forward, they will benefit? Remember, generational wealth does not start in this generation or the second one. It is when what you've built still exists in the third, fourth, fifth going forward generations. That's when it's called a generational wealth. For now, it's just a wealthy family. And that wealth can be is still skating on thin ice, I would say, because you will never know the type of offspring you are also going to be generating. Or is it what's the word? Not generating, spawn is it spawning? Spawn, yeah. You don't know what you'll be spawning as you give or you bring about these children onto this earth, because some of them they come with a what you would call a greedy heart. Yeah, some of them will come with a greedy heart, and then they will want to, want everything for themselves, and come what may, they destroy everything that you've built. Which kind of reminds me of the fifth one, which is life insurance. Oh, life insurance. Something is also quite scary about it. To be honest with you, I'm terrified of life insurance, but I feel it is the great or probably the greatest way of passing down generational wealth or developing generational wealth, because should anything happen to you and you are paying a premium of probably, I don't know, $25 a month, and should anything happens to you, your kid or your children probably would share $5 million out of that policy, or whatever the case might be. And hopefully, themselves will also take a life insurance so that their own children as well do not suffer when they are no longer around. So basically, these are the five. And another thing that I like about life insurance is non-taxable in some countries. I think the United States is not taxable. I think even in South Africa as well, life insurance is not taxable when it is paid out to your offspring. All right. Hi Cynthia, how are you, Cynthia? Hello, hello, Portia. Good evening, Clantis. Good evening, Portia. It's good to see you. Walk with all. What's up? Walk with all. I'm glad that you are here because you are a tax expert, and probably you've seen these things come forward. What mistakes people that are wealthy make, that maybe you can share some few things and say, oh, while you're busy building your generational wealth, don't forget this, don't forget that. Is life insurance taxable in South Africa? Please advise. Again, I don't want to give wrong information, but from what I've read, it is non-taxable, or maybe some specific taxes are taken. But from the information that I read, no, I think it was from All Mutual website. I hope it's All Mutual. Oh yeah, one of those insurance companies in South Africa that are also selling a life insurance. So other than that, guys, like I said, you've got to understand as well the opportunities that the fourth industrial revolution is throwing at us in utilizing no tax on life. Yes, exactly. That's what I also, yeah, there's no tax on life insurance indeed. So there we go. Your kid, if you insured yourself for 10 million rand or maybe even $10 million, all of it goes to them. And that's a very comfortable life that you've built for them. Again, be careful of those. I don't know what's the best advice for a beneficiary, is a benefactor beneficiary of a life insurance. Should you tell them, let them know, or is it something that you need to keep to yourself, considering the stuff that is happening with life insurance? Case in point, Rosemary Ndlovu, this gladness lady in the Northwest, because I feel like it's important to keep it a secret, almost like a will. You can let people know that you have a will, which we're going to talk about as part of building generational wealth. I would like to hear what's the best advice when it comes to that. For me, I feel like it's important that if you have little children, speak to them about money. Uh, do that as per the age group, as per how they understand money, the making of money, the responsibility of saving money, the responsibility of using money, and the responsibility of money making money for you, and also staying out of illegal ways of making money and what the consequences are as your kids grow. That also includes life insurance, that also includes inheritance, that also includes family businesses, and all these other things. I feel like it needs to start from a very young age, this conversation about money. That way they understand the value of money, because some of these wealthy kids, they are not taught about the value of money or how money is earned. They, wake up in the morning whenever they want to. They have got people all around them that serves them without even knowing how all of this came about. Trust fund babies, they don't want to go and work. I mean, if I'm a trust fund baby, why would I would be bothering myself with a 9 to 5 either? But how about teaching them about the value of money and the value of making money? Either at the young age, you teach them that in order for you to earn your allowance, you need to make sure your room is clean, the kitchen is always spick and span after using it. The toilet seat is sitting, well, I'm a guy, it's always up in my house. You teach them those little things, that you earn the money. It doesn't just come flying out of a bank account into your bank account. So I feel that is important. So I've got a lot of notes here. So I'm going to read my notes and then I'll expand on what I was trying to say here. What we'll all say is, even if you do not tell your beneficiaries about the insurance upon your death, the insurance company will look for them till they find them. Usually the executor will do a search. Yes, indeed. But I'm talking more like while you are still here. While you are still here and you have life insurance, is it advisable to let them know? Because for me, this is exactly how I would do it. I would just, and then let the executor find them, and then they find out how much I had, what I've left for them, versus them knowing and then one of them start planning. Like, hey, this guy, he's like 99 years old, he refuses to go, and then I'm, the type of situation. Or maybe I'm not even 99 years old, I'm still pretty much a springbok, and they want me to, quickly, and then get the benefits of the life insurance, because we do see these things. We cannot run away from family members, sometimes kids, who know that if this one goes, this is what I will benefit. In South Africa, I've been in so many family issues where the husband, who was wealthy or maybe had a good job and was earning really good money, they have a house, the house is paid off, or maybe the wife is the one that bought the house. In most cases, the ones that I've been solving is when the wife was the one that always had the house. The husband, they met wherever they met, and the woman, because women, they always think ahead. Women, they always think ahead. They buy things on time. The moment a woman finds a job, the first thing that she does is save money to buy a house, that when she has kids someday, she knows that they have a roof over their heads, especially if she's earning a good salary. Though that's the first. I mean, I'm not saying all women do that, but the ones that I've come across, my sister included, the first thing was to pay, what do you call this, that 50,000 rand down payment for a house, and then from there. And what I like about women is that instead of paying this house for next 20, 30 years, they want to be done in 10 years. and they already know that when I get married and start having kids, they are safe, which is something that I'm loving, especially from us, because we never had that opportunity. We don't have generational wealth. And now, many, especially women, like I said, they are thinking generational wealth first, which is awesome. And by purchasing a home for kids to come. So now, just to, I'm sharing a small little story of what I've been through with many, either family or maybe people in the neighborhood, where the husband passes on. He's married, he's got two kids or three kids or four kids with this woman. And then on the moment his death is announced to the family, already some family members are already there to loot. I'm saying to loot. And in most cases, they loot because they know that the wife is supposed to be sitting on a mattress. This is African culture. I don't know if it's an African culture or is this done here in South Africa. Let me speak from my culture, which is the Zulu culture. The moment the husband passes on, they take the mattress and put it on the floor. This is where she sits, and she covers herself throughout the process while they are arranging his funeral, all that stuff. She's covered in a blanket. And so while she is covering the blanket sitting on the mattress, there's always going to be that deputy person sitting next to her, either the daughter or the sister or a sister in law or something like that. Other family members are going through wardrobes looking for what? Policy. The first thing they look for is the deceased ID or driver's license. They also look for the car keys. This drives me up the wall every time. I've gone as far as telling all my family members who are women that the moment you hear your husband has passed on, run home, collect all those documents, including his car keys, ID, and driver's license. Go to a bank and open a, what do you call this, like a post box, a secret box. Put all those things. And when you go back home, when you cover yourself up and they're asking for this and asking, you just tell them, listen, guys, everything is in the wardrobe. Look for them there. They will look until they are short, because the first, including the house deed, because they're always looking for the house deed. Because once they get the house deed and get the driver's license or the ID or both, by the time the funeral is over, the house is already belonging to one of the siblings. The car is already owned by another. And a week, sometimes the day of the funeral, when the husband is buried, they'll tell you, they'll say, Makoti, meaning our wife, well, what brought us together is no longer here. So please, can you leave us in peace with our brother's house and assets and what have you and what have you? You and your children go. Sometimes they don't know that it is the house belongs to the wife. The wife, the one that bought the house. They only find out the other way that actually the title deed is in the name of the wife. And in most cases, they will fight her and say, no, 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 this is my brother's house, without knowing the full story. And they still kick her out of her house. Well, me, because I'm a petty person, even though something doesn't belong, I'm a Cancer. I think I'll always make reference to that. We're like, listen, we just put the house on sale and then we'll sit by the car and watch the sheriff of the high court kick them out. We've done that. I think I've done it 6 or 7 times already. Put the house on sale while they're busy enjoying themselves in the house. Yeah, the new owners, they come with furniture. The sheriff will be like, you, everybody, and then they are homeless. Because in most cases, these guys, they come from shacks or somewhere in the township where they were squeezed in one house, and they always wait for their sibling who is doing well to pass on. It's crazy what goes on, because you'll find that this man was building generational wealth together with his wife. Made sure, especially the wife, made sure that there's a home for my children. Probably the husband was working on other stuff like life insurance and all this stuff that is going to take care of the kids. Then comes the looters, the siblings. And I love it when they do that, because I always have an idea, one way or the other. and we deal with them in the most, which is unfortunate at the end because sometimes there are kids involved. And then this woman, after selling her house, she moves away out. I always say, leave the province, be untouchable, change the number, everything. They must never hear of you again. But when do not speak ill of the family to your children, so that one day if they want to go to their father's family, it's easy for them to go there. uh, that's a thing because you created an unsavory environment where you're kicking out somebody with their kids to do what out there simply because now they're no longer part of your family. It's crazy what some people do, honestly speaking. Let's go to the comments. Natty Slim, what's up, Natty? Lol, what what the burial? Oh, the burial is worse. Everything transpires the moment the guy is covered. It's crazy what happens. What will all say is no need to tell because the lazy ones will relax and even wish for your death if they know how much is due. Yeah, I think so too. For me, that's my mentality. I have one. I hope they're not watching. No, I don't have one. I know. I no. I don't. I don't. No, I also believe that you shouldn't. Same thing with a will. I feel like a will is something they need to learn about when you are gone, not when you are still alive. Because for some reason, man, I slipped up. I slipped up. So the will. I always feel like it's something that you need to learn for the first time. When your family lawyer or his lawyer calls the family and say, "Listen, we need to have a meeting. Your dad, or whatever the case might be, you know." But I want to talk about that a little later. Like I said, I have notes and I want to read and then expand on my notes. But first, let me finish with the live chat. Nighty Slim says, I think I watched a true crime video episode from you. Yes, it was Rosemary Ndlovu who killed almost six family members after she herself signed them up for a life insurance. The life insurance was paying between 450,000 Rand to about 4 million Rand. In dollars, I think I did give dollar signs on that. I can't remember how much that is. Where the lady killed several family members. Yeah, Rosemary Love for insurance. Yeah, it was Rosemary Love. There's another one currently as well. Killed even her own children, two kids, her husband, the aunt. I think there's an uncle also involved. So it gets worse, all because of life insurance. All because of life insurance. What also says yes, Nadi Slim. She took a funeral policies on them and then went on a mission to kill them and claim payouts. So funeral policies pay quick as long as you provide required docs. Imagine. That is why I always say, Siswam, take all of these policies and hide them. The only money they are going to get is from his workplace. You know that 5,000 Rand? I don't know. I think other companies they pay more. There's that 5,000. Let them work on that 5,000 Rand. Everything else they'll have to carry it themselves. And then when the funeral is, or sometimes some men are quite smart because they know what type of siblings they have, and they already have this separate account that is only known between him and his wife. That if anything happens, just give them this card. They'll go give them the card and the pin, and most of the time the money is usually around 100,000 Rand because probably the casket, if he wants to be buried in a casket. But in most cases, they already bought all those things. They already have their own grave sites. They already have their own caskets or coffins. They already have the funeral is already taken care of. But to shut their mouth, give them that card. Let them fight it amongst themselves. I have seen such as well. I don't know why it's always the Zulu people that do this. My people, why? Why do we do this? But yeah, that card, you just give it to the one with the loudest mouth. Like, I Nani card, and this is the pin number. In most cases, she runs or he runs first, swipe and take a huge chunk for themselves, put it away, and come back and tell the other siblings, "Oh, this is only much that he left." Da, 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 da. And then the math doesn't matter to others because they already calculated as they were running to the house. Like, no, he has more than that. They go to, "Hey, wife, that no, I'll give you the card. That card is our life. That card is for him to get buried and buy what. But they get surprised suddenly when a funeral home already has a coffin for him or casket or whatever it is that they chose while they're still alive, and then and groceries are bought because of whatever and all that funeral policy. I don't know what arrangement they make with them because they just want to bypass this situation of it's always siblings and the mother. Oh, the mother. You have been a good daughter in law and she loved you. The moment she hears that her son is dead, the first thing she will smear on you is that you killed him. Yeah, yeah. And now this is to justify the looting. Why they are looting? Because it's the wife. Even though he had a car accident, oh, he must never get sick because if he died from sickness, it's even worse. It's even worse. Puluku, hi, Puluku. How are you doing? Nelson is laughing. Yeah, no, I made it. I slipped. My tongue slipped. Yes, walk. Oh yeah, definitely. She's the queen of that. Anyways, let me quickly read my notes and then I will expand. Generational wealth gives you freedom to live life you've dreamed. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry that you've dreamed not only for you but for your children too. You never have to worry paying bills, owing college fees or tuition fees for yourself and subsequently your children. You don't have to worry about tomorrow and deadlines, meaning like you don't have to wake up to a 9 to 5 and worry about deadlines like some of us are. It must be nice not getting fulfillment in salary earned because it's just not it's never enough. We always get in debt one way or the other. The interesting part about building generational wealth is in most cases it's not for enjoyment. It's not for me to enjoy now. For me, I can only have financial freedom because I've made this money and now I can do whatever I want to. But in my financial freedom, I still have to continue on the journey of building generational wealth, is what I am saying here. But creating a soft spot to land for your children, they never have to go through what you went through in life. I think I've already covered that earlier. Perhaps you don't want your children to work a day in their life. Which trust fund baby syndrome. My problem is not them not learning the value of money. I don't want that. I still want them to at least wake up and do 4 hours of work so that they understand and appreciate the value of money, right? This is to make life easier to navigate for them the through. Okay, I don't know what I want you to say there. Oh yeah, by understanding the value of money. Therefore, it's also important to teach your children the value of making money by them doing some chores when they are little bikinis. When they're 5 years old, from three probably, they understand that you will get an allowance at probably this age. Start now working for it so that you have financial freedom. That type of situation, so that they understand and appreciate the value of money. So around perhaps even them, oh yeah, taking them to family business or businesses to see how money is made by the family. However, it's all about enjoying your children's option in life, or it is all about giving your children options in life. They can decide. Some wealthy kids they believe in doing things for themselves, knowing fully well that at home we got all this money. I don't have to go to work. But some, why? Because at a young age, you taught them the value of money and self respect. Because I feel like most of the time, trust fund babies and those kids that grow up in wealth, self respect, I went to school with them. Trust and believe me, it's non existent. Therefore, it's also important that they learn about personal finances by providing them with financial education from a very young age. So, two, they understand why they should sustain the family fortune, okay, the generational wealth for their own children too, so on and so forth. Never hide money from your children. Have open conversations to them about money, which kind of like contradicts what I said earlier when it comes to life insurance as well as the funeral policies and the will. I still feel like when they are younger, having financial education is important. And of course, the older they become, they will figure things out as well that no, this guy does have either life insurance or a will, and probably they might dig it out. I mean, we've seen wealthy kids wanting to know what is going to be left behind for them by doing their own investigations, but hoping that your financial education would hold them off from, doing crazy stuff. But I think it's important to have financial conversations with them from a very young age. The last thing you want is to end up on some true crime channel. Your story of deletion about how your children offed you for money and their inheritance. I can't believe I wrote that. But it's true, though. It's true. In this money conversation, it's important that you talk to your children about how money is made, used, saved, and working for you. Also, what is that? Yeah, also the gift of giving. Because when you are wealthy, it's also important that you open up foundations, philanthropy, because all of that teaches your children about how other people are not as fortunate as they are. Opening scholarships, opening up those sort of stuff, charities and things like giving to charity. They must learn not to always be about them, but also make life a little bit easier for other people that are misfortunate. Okay? Don't confuse yourself between personal finance and generational wealth, though the line is quite thin and blurred. Generational wealth is more like financial assets that are passed down from one generation to the next versus personal finance. Like I said, personal finance is about you and your financial freedom. You might, like my mom, she was more like a financial freedom type of woman. And she told us flat on our faces, like, the only thing I'm leaving y'all is the house. And she was serious. The house, we can't sell it, it's unsellable. That house is we can't put it on sale. She locked that. Like, I don't want y'all or your children and their children's children to be vagabonds. They must always know that there's a house they can go to. That one is locked. There's nothing we can do about it. However, when it came to money, she said, I work hard. This is for me. You take your little butt to school, get a degree, go to work, build your own financial freedom. If you want to leave some things to your children, that's your business. So there's that difference between personal finance as well as generational wealth. She was not into generational wealth. She was more like, you pick your own little life, build it the way you want to build it. But you must know one thing: if you ever get yourself involved in anything that is legal, I ain't coming. No money of mine is gonna pay your bail, let alone me shishili's on my bench in court. That's what she used to say. Me shishili's meaning basically, we know when you're in court, when it's your turn, your child's turn to, that cue. So I said, I'm going to do that. And the last thing, you are not going to take me to prison with you because I ain't coming to visit. I will consider you dead until you are released. And she was serious. That woman, when she said something, she said it once. Just like me, when I say something, I say it once. I have no time to repeat myself. I took a lot from that woman actually, because I am thinking about generational wealth, and I think it's very important. But at the same time, looking at the hard work that I do, I'm like, And then they'll just sit and twiddle their thumb and watch television the whole day and go to malls and go to Durban Harbor and pull out my yacht and have their friends and have parties and don't worry about no. Dude. Yeah, but it's important. We're talking about generational wealth, and it's important that we build that. Okay, where was I? Generational wealth is more like financial assets that are passed down. Okay, I already read. This is also known as family wealth. Yeah, or family fortune, whatever. How is it called family fortune? Because unless, okay, never mind. This includes a real estate, investment stock, investment in stock, life insurance, money saved, bonds, family businesses or business, and other stuff that have monetary value like jewelry, awards, paintings, mineral resources that may be, I don't know, maybe you have gold in, what do you call this, in blocks that you want to, I don't know. Some families, they do those sort of stuff. So you may pass that down to your children, do what they may with it. Like the Mona Lisa has exchanged hands from being stolen and all that stuff, and it goes down generation to generation. Generational wealth is built over years and sweat and tears and sleepless nights and sacrifices. This is stuff that you, who is building the personal wealth, it all begins with all the stuff you will go through it. Your kids are going to be basically eating out of your sweat and tears, sacrifices, sleepless nights, and probably even ducking and diving some few unfortunate events in order for you to have all of what you have. In most cases, generational wealth comes from a four parents who became multimillionaires or multi-billionaires through hard work and made the right decision or decisions for their forebears going forward. Hopefully, they'll be grateful at the end. My goodness. Let's not forget about those that were lucky because some generational wealth were built off of luck. Example, the gold rush or the platinum rush, or even somebody winning the lotto. So that for me falls under luck. And of course, if you are lucky, let's say you win the lotto and you've got a brain, because most of the time, people that win the lotto for some reason they end up at this show. What is that show called in South Africa again? I blew it. For my American viewers, there's a show in South Africa where either a parent left generational wealth to their children or child, and that child blows everything and then ends up on this show. And then they basically tell the presenter of the show that my mom left me X amount of millions and I finished it in 3 months or 6 months because of friends, women, da 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 da, and traveling, Louis Vuitton, Gucci's, BMWs, and flying private jets. Yeah, or somebody that won the lotto and won millions, and they blew those millions within a year or two, and then they end up on that particular show. They never think about tomorrow, and they never think about their children, etc., and so on. I don't know if it was this live where I shared about a lady who got some money. I can't remember how she got the money from. And her sister made a call to the radio station and said she was blowing the money. She was flying to Greece and Italy and having good time in Cape Town. And she never put anything aside. Now all the money is blown. And suddenly now she's threatening to herself and her children if her siblings are not going to help her in paying rent, buying food, etc., and so on. Like, how crazy is that? So that is why money, you have to think for it. What am I going to do with this money? How I am going to make it work for me, etc., and so on. And if you want to build generational wealth, then this is where you put the money in appropriate investment plans. Okay, or one of the five ways of building generational wealth, as I had mentioned earlier. And I said, why? What did I say again? Either you save the money. If you don't save the money, you are going to invest in real estate. If you don't invest in real estate, you invest in stock market. If you don't invest in stock market, build or start a family business, or pay life insurance, whatever premiums that they are going to charge you in order for you to get a huge payout, or maybe your children get a huge payout. Then, yeah, it's totally up to you how you plan for the money. Don't think about hiring a private jet. Who does that? What we all say is I Blew It has some crazy money stories. I stopped watching that show, to be honest with you, because I'm always left livid. Like, how are you? I tell you, every time Walker all laughing and says that drama around deaths can be hilarious. I enjoy those drama, Walker all, let me tell you, because I'm petty. Oh my goodness, I love it when they call me. It's like with Lobola. Recently, I'm the one who unkongi, the guy that negotiates. Because when they say the reason why we are charging so much for lobola is because our daughter has a degree, and then I'm like, okay, I know he's got a master's, and then we put that on the table and say, oh, okay, she has a bachelor's, he's got a master's degree. So out of her degree, we are going to deduct. So, and I'm always the guy that they throw out. And when it comes to family debts, oh my goodness, I should start charging for those things. I promise you, and maybe become like my another stream of income and building my generational wealth. Because I have ideas. If you ever find yourself in a situation, like, call me. I have ideas. I'm not done with the ideas. Let's continue. Where was I? Where was I? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I talked about some generational wealth are formed out of luck. It all depends on how smart they are, meaning how smart you are to start building generational wealth from that lucky streak. If you won the lotto, hopefully it's going to a person with a brain and a plan, other than somebody who wants to squander the money with unsavory people. Once you get money, you got to think a long term, not self gratification, because self gratification is short term, like flying to Italy to buy a Louis Vuitton bag or belt. What happened to going to Santon, a Diamond Walk, because there's Louis Vuitton store there, which is a very short term where you end up getting involved in desperation, where you end up doing illegal activities because you just realize my money is starting to run dry, and then you start panicking, and then the little that you're left, there will always be this friend who's going to say, hey, you know what, if we took this money and did what, and it's illegal stuff that they will tell you. And when you do illegal activities with your money, you are not going to enjoy that money, because you know what? You are going to forfeit it to the government when you are found guilty of committing a crime. Yeah, you'll forfeit that, all of it, to government. So do not find yourself in a desperate situation because you squandered the money that you've built towards your generational wealth, or maybe you got lucky and won the lottery, or whatever the case might be, or bought stock in the stock market, and it just so happened the shares just made you a multi millionaire, if not a billionaire. uh, or get yourself involved in bad investments. Because sometimes, like I said, there'll always be that one person who's going to give you the wrong advice instead of going to a financial advisor or to a stockbroker who will give you sound advice on how you can invest this money and how long it's going to mature, and what the payout will be after X number of years. Some people, they listen to the X number of years and like, will I still be alive? It's not about you. It's about your children and their children's children. we're talking about generational wealth here. So of course, if they say if you invest this in 20 years, it's gonna pay you out this money, that's not for you. That's for your kids. If you are even smarter, you build a name for yourself from whatever business that you may have started, or like this family right here, this family right here, yeah, they made a name for themselves. Rockefellers I've mentioned earlier. You might build yourself a name as one of the richest people or families in the world, you know, controlling assets worth billions and billions of dollars. Interestingly, for generational wealth to continue, it does not start and end with you. Yeah, that's why you need to have financial education with your children so that they always have it at the back of their heads that if we squander this money, we might actually suffer, and especially our children. So it does not start and ends with you. It's a continuous thing. A generation, it must go to generation to generation. Uh, what do I say? Think before it is or generational thing before it's even referred to as generational wealth. Like I said, probably around the third or fourth generation, that is when it can be called a generational wealth. It's not generational wealth when it starts with me. If I'm the instigator of generational wealth, me, it's for financial freedom, personal finance. Because I was smart, I started putting aside for my children. And then if they also think like me, they also save up for their children. Or maybe the business that I started, my children, they expand it and make it bigger, and their children make it even bigger, except maybe around the fourth or fifth generation. That's when you can say this is generational wealth. Started here. Okay. So it's not generational wealth in the beginning, unfortunately. That's actually, for me, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Let me just put it that way. That's my opinion. That is why it's important to draft a comprehensive and decisive will, just like my mom. She drafted a comprehensive and decisive will. And she said, the house, that was very decisive. The house, you cannot sell it. You can go to every lawyer on earth. That house is not going to be sold. And if you did sell it, you would have committed a crime. That is in her will. And we turned that house into an Airbnb. That's what we did because we live here in Joburg. The house is in Durban. Um, while stating how you intend, basically you leave a comprehensive and decisive will stating how you intend for your wealth to be distributed amongst your offspring. That is why it's important to distribute your wealth per generation to come, like the house. It's for us, our kids, their kids, forever and ever. Not just to the existing children and grandchildren. And then I give a warning. We already talked about this warning. Beware of greedy family members. That is why leaving a will solves a lot of problems, especially the siblings of the millionaire or billionaire trying to steal his or her fortune from his or her children. It happens a lot here in South Africa. I've already given that story, how I like getting myself involved in those greedy children who want to take you out before your time for for their inheritance or even life insurance. That is why it's your responsibility to get every family member make sacrifices in order to keep the generational wealth. You involve your children in the family business so that they understand the value of making money by making them CEOs, by making them CFOs, by making them COO, by making them some kind of executive in the family business. If the business is not public, if the business is public, then they'll have to fight it out with strangers, I suppose. But it's important that you involve your children once you have built this generational wealth so that they appreciate and also have the fear of losing all of it if they did something dumb, right? There has to be assets and accounts, okay? Uh, Accounts and estates that can't be touched or sold for generations to come. So that no lineage ever suffer because they were not left with anything by the past generations. Again, my mom's house. I'm gonna use this one as an example. She said the next generation like y'all, you can't sell this house, you just cannot. So now use this house and think of other assets and estates so that you would not want them to be, I don't know, sold or lost. That sort of situation. And that way your kids will always have some kind of security, and their offspring will always have some kind of security because of your cleverness when you began building the generational wealth. Again, with me, I am building my generational wealth. And that is why I have these multiple YouTube channels. And I appreciate Cynthia. You have no idea your super thanks what they do for my journey. I've never even told or shared how your super thanks changes my life because I am on this journey, and every dollar, every cent counts towards what I'm busy building. And I hope you also will have learned something and probably inspired to begin your own. That is why I always say I would like to see South African YouTubers having more than one YouTube channel. And anybody else that watches my channel, like 90 Slim in New York City, open another channel, girl. Start building that generational wealth because you'll never know what will stick. you know we live in a very, very interesting times right now, and these times are giving us so many options. Some of these options, they don't necessarily require us to leave the comfort of our homes. And I love that. I know that I could wake up on a Saturday and just be indoors the whole day, building either a digital product. I feel like digital product is going to build a lot of millionaires as it's already started. So before people get immune to digital products and say, yeah, another one, start doing it. Start posting your own. Start making money out of that, and start your own financial freedom and subsequently generational wealth. So, if you want to be reminded again of the five methods to building generational wealth, either you save money, that's number one. Two, invest in real estate. Three, invest in stock market. Four, start a business, family business. And five, life insurance. So bother yourself by doing your research and see and find opportunities that you can utilize in building your generational wealth. I think on my side, that is it, you guys. This topic, I've been thinking about it for a while, and I was not um, confident enough to talk about it until I really sat down and started reading thoroughly. I know I don't like throwing statistics if I feel this is going to be valuable information. I don't want to confuse you with so many percent and so many dollars and what. And I don't want to lose you. I want to be as simple as possible and comprehensive as possible when we talk about it. Because most of the time, while I was doing my research, I listening to a lot of big words being thrown around. I'm like, that's not what I want. I want to hear how we can do this without you throwing big words and numbers at something as simple as I don't think it's difficult to build generational wealth. It's all your logic, I suppose. All your logic, and also knowing what tax is going to affect if I do this. And I think maybe those are the only statistic because at the end of the day, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, right? Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. You'll be in trouble. Yeah, guys, that is it on my side with building generational wealth. I don't see any comments no more. I think people have left. Y'all left me. You're not interested in making money? for your kids? Wow. I only see one person left. But other than that, whoever you are, hi and goodbye. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I mean, I haven't been sipping my coffee. Now it's cold. Yeah, I think I'm done, guys. That's it. Let's see each other again tomorrow. I think we'll just. Oh, tomorrow is we are going to elections. Those of you who might not know, yeah, we are going to elections, general elections, and I want to do it early in the morning. I want to be the first one, get out and have a good day because it's a public holiday when we go on our election. So yeah, let's see what government that they are going to bring us. Some of the people. Hopefully, there will be change. Honestly speaking. Other than that, guys, thank you. Vote wisely, South Africans. If you are still around, see you. Mwah. Thanks. Bye. 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 Build generational wealth.